Sexual consent is a topic not often given the airtime it deserves, but with more and more victims coming forward in recent years, it's moving more into the public spotlight. But how much is the awareness of sexual consent an issue in and around university campuses? In October last year, the University of Southampton Student Union held an All-Student Vote, asking its members to rank 4 of its campaigns in terms of how important they considered them. Sexual consent was ranked 3rd, with just 894 votes, trading significantly behind tuition fees and mental health. But why would students rank this issue so low compared to others?
The media portray it as sexual consent is a controversial thing that nobody has a clue about, and I think that many students don't really understand the extent of the issue on university campuses. So I think that's probably why that comes so frankly worryingly low.
That's something that applies to every student, and they're not going to argue about it as much as like a guy who isn't really informed about sexual assault and consent issues, or like thinks it doesn't affect him. Well, student fees really do, and we know that they're on the rise and everything, and it's more prevalent. But the funny thing is that you're not really going to be able to do anything on campus about student fees, whereas some of the other issues, students together on one campus can make a change on that campus. So I get why everyone kind of moved towards student fees, but luckily we are going to tackle all of the issues.
I always found it quite interesting when I taught the module on rape, because when we got into discussions about what is rape, what counts as rape, people would they would agree, yeah, we think rape is probably sex without consent. And then you would talk about maybe some concrete examples. So a girl goes to a party, she drinks so much that she blacks out, she wakes up in the morning and she discovers that she's had sex. And you get a lot of people going, well, is that really rape?
It's happening all around us, quietly.
Even though the definition of consent should be clear-cut, the international press often sensationalise and confuse the issue. One of the most high-profile cases in mainstream media was, of course, Stanford student-athlete Brock Turner.
With the sentence he was given, the judge, the way his father talked about it, the way that everything he did was played down when it was a disgusting and despicable thing that he did, and the fact that he was protected behind being a sports star, it was really kind of shining a bright light on the real issue of it and kind of how prevalent it is. But then a lot of other bad things happened in society, and it kind of, I mean, it's loud still, but the Orlando shootings happened, many terrorist attacks happened, like all in the same month, and it was kind of like, I'm not saying that one issue is bigger than the other, but just it was a horrible few months.
As soon as it hit social media, no one was having any of it. It was, he's to blame, he shouldn't stay at, his school, it was Ivy League, he shouldn't still be on, scholarship or doing swimming. Whereas the media still sort of will look to, they look to call him a wonderful student, no one would have expected this, and actually they should be saying, this is despicable, this shouldn't be happening. So, I think social media is actually helping in a sense that people are latching onto these cases and they're sort of showing this isn't okay, this isn't what we stand for. But unfortunately, you still do have people who, believe it's the victim's fault.
Social media can be a powerful tool for both those needing help but also those wanting to help. But despite this, consent is still an everyday issue. New branches of support become readily available all the time, both in the student community and in society in general.
It's more a matter of understanding why people may have done things that are very, very bad, and it's only by recognising that nice guys could do that kind of thing that we can start to tackle the problem.
And even like women who get groped in clubs and things and who think that it's not such a big deal, they don't report it. It's not their fault that they don't report it, but it's society's fault for making them think that that's not actually sexual assault.
The way that we think about men and women in society does absolutely feed into that kind of thing happening.
I'm sure if somebody came up and groped them in a club, well, there's that whole kind of thing where a lot of guys don't want to go to gay clubs because they think that they'll be treated the way they treat women in clubs they go to, which kind of says everything.
We don't want to turn around and suddenly say, actually, this is a bad human. We want to say, oh, well, they must have had a reason for it. Her skirt was too short, her top was too low. He, didn't put up enough of a fight. He wasn't fighting them off, and especially you see with male-on-male assault, and it does happen, and we don't talk enough about it. You just you think, oh well, if they had not wanted it so much, they could have said no, and they would have fought them off, and they would have asserted themselves and said, this isn't what I want. And now then you start to see, actually maybe they enjoyed it.
And they're told, people like women and feminine presented people, they're told not to go out on their own, not to walk home on their own, don't wear earphones, but put them in to make it look like you're wearing earphones so people ignore you. There's the keys thing where you have your keys in your hand because you might be able to fend an attacker off with them. Have your phone in your hand so you can call someone. Don't wear too revealing clothes. Make sure you bring some flats with you so you can run away. So many things that you can do.
Yeah, obviously that's things that I do as well.
So many things that you can do to stop yourself being attacked. But what about we just say, hey, don't attack people? That's something.
Southampton have Yellow Door, which are an organisation which can help if you've been sexually assaulted, and obviously Southampton's Women's Aid. But if you don't, if you're not watching something like this, or you don't know who to go to, how on earth would you conjure up to think of that's where you go?
Efforts are being made to stop sexual consent being such a taboo topic. A campaign group has been started by University of Southampton students for just that purpose.
We got a really weird kind of text from Greg at 2 a.m. that was more gibberish than actual English. But yeah, the message was really like, we need to meet up and we need to talk tomorrow. So I was like, okay, let's do this. And we all met up early in the morning. And Greg kind of told us. And it sort of sparked within us stories of things that have happened but hadn't actually registered. What's really novel about this as well is that it's not something that's created by like the union or the university. It's something that's created by students. So we've got some really good stuff planned. For example, one of the main things that we're doing, which is so exciting, and I think it's partially because Lee and I are both law students, is that we're getting all the clubs in Southampton to sign what will kind of be like a charter, just saying that they recognise that this is an issue and they want to do whatever they can do to kind of help alleviate it almost. And it's also so that students know, whether it's like new kind of freshers coming into university life for the first time, or whether you're like a 6th year medic or whatever, you know that if you go to this club, if you go to this venue, you'll be safe.
On the back of this, because so many people have showed an interest in this issue, behind the scenes, the student union is putting a structure in place. So it won't be around this year, but for future years, hopefully there'll be a support structure in place. So if you are affected by this issue, you are able to get the help you need.
It's getting that balance between recognising how wrong the behaviour is, which we need to do partly for the sake of the victims. I think it's failure to respect them if we don't recognise the wrong for what it is.
While society is unable to look past its own reflective expectations, sexual consent is always going to be a complex issue. But grassroots campaigns like the SEA group here in Southampton are beginning to have an impact. There's a lot of work to be done, but promoting open conversation is the first step in the right direction.